Head Royal.
Good morning, Coach. How's it going?
Royal, good morning.
My question for you, Coach, is you all get prepared to take on Georgia Tech, upcoming game tomorrow, I believe. They may not have the best record, but they still, can play ball. How do you keep your team focused and poised going into a matchup where they're not playing down to level competition? You just came off of a very emotional win versus a Miami team. How do you keep that same poise and calm and collected going forward against the Georgia Tech team?
Well, I think they're really good. And, sometimes records don't indicate how good you are. I saw enough when they were able to beat Miami at Georgia Tech. What's unique about what Josh has done there is that they mixed their defenses up. You're going to see, a couple different zones, and you'll see some man-to-man. And then anytime you run a Princeton offense, it can kind of keep you in the game. And so, we want to just stay focused and locked in. We're not good enough where we can say we can look at anybody and think because of their record, that's an automatic win. It's our league is so good, anybody can beat you on any given night. And so our guys, our focus has been, turning the page against a very good win at home versus Miami to go in and play a very good team in Georgia Tech on the road.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
James Henderson, go ahead.
Hey, Kevin, hope you're doing well. Obviously, everybody's talked a lot about DJ's scoring ability. Can you just go into what he gives you as a passer?
What makes him really good is his ability to find other guys. And it kind of puts you in a little bit tougher situation because you have to pick your poison. Do you want him to score the basketball, or if you decide that you're going to double him, what makes him unique is his ability to find people and make passes. I think that's a little bit underrated part of his game. Because he is a good passer, and he's almost like a point guard from the center position because he always makes the right play. And so I think that's what makes him really tough to guard.
And just to follow up, I wanted to go back to the final play of regulation against Miami. You ended up getting Jarkel taking a three. Was that what you guys wanted coming out of the timeout, or did you have something else in mind?
Well, of course, James, I didn't want that.
Yeah.
We were trying to get him to, go screen for T and to a drive and to DJ getting to the baseline and to a drop off. Obviously, Amir is a tremendous shot blocker. And so we felt like if we can get Jarkel getting down the lane to his right hand, we would have him come over and rotate and make a shot. And obviously, when it doesn't work out, it looks bad. And, he just dribbled and end up taking a crazy three. But I will say this to you, let's give Miami more credit for the defensive effort. I thought Beverly did a great job of defending him and not going forward and stay locked in. And fortunate enough, we were able to move on in overtime and get the win.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
We'll go to David Teal. Go ahead, David.
Kevin, more impressive from Ernest the other day, 17 points in 22 minutes or 6 offensive rebounds in 22 minutes?
Man, you're asking me to pick which one of my sons I love the most. I love both of them. His 17 points were really good. And here's why they were good. All year long, I thought he has settled for taking corner threes, and he's always open, and he's open for a reason. And I thought this time he decided to play around the rim, and give DJ credit. He found him on a lot of those, but his offensive rebounds were tremendous. They were timely. They were great when we needed them at the time. And, if you look back, David, and you probably don't have time to look back because you're covering so many teams and stuff like that. He had 2 games last year, maybe not 17-9, that showed us a glimpses of what he could do. One of them was at Virginia Tech, and then one of them was at Louisville. And, we just hope that he can build on this. Between him and Greg, when Jack went down, they've stepped up in a huge way, and I think they've really helped their team.
And then you mentioned earlier DJ's passing ability out of the post and out of doubles. Is that something he had shown in the Big South and you knew you were getting?
Well, I knew he was when he plays at a smaller conference in the Big South, of course he's going to see a lot of double teams, and so we were able to see his ability to pass the ball. But this is not a surprise, David. We knew coming in that he was a really good passer. You just don't respect and appreciate it as much until he's playing for you.
We'll go to Rob McLam. Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, Kevin, I know everyone's talking about Ernest and DJ, but you had the great game from Greg Gann as well. And to have guys like that, seems like guys are stepping up, especially when it's unexpected. I just want you to talk about his performance and how everybody's seeming to up their game.
Well, it shows a little bit about the roster that we've been able to put together. We couldn't last year. We lost so many important pieces through injuries, and the year before was Devin Daniels' situation. And I thought that year before, when Devin went down, we were able to bounce back, finish 9-8 in the league, and won 5 road games at the end. Last year we couldn't overcome what we had with our injuries. These guys have stepped up in a major way. And, you look at what Greg's done, and he's used his experience. I mean, he's a guy who's battled injuries and his knees have been bothering him. But, he went from not playing to, almost playing 30 minutes a game or a little bit more. And, just came in and played hard for us. And then Ernest is something that we've expected. It's been a little slower coming off of his ankle injury for last year. He's shown some flashes in practice, but hadn't played that way. But that being said, leading up to the Miami game, I thought he had really 2 good practices that helped him. And so our guys have really bought in. And, it's tough when you're losing 2 starters. And Deshaun meant so much to us. And because he played hard, he rebounded the ball. And then Jack Clark was our leading rebounder, and he's also a 3-point threat. And we've completely had to switch a little bit how we play. And the credit goes to those guys who stepped up in a way. And that would be, number one, I would say would be Greg, then Ebenezer stepped up, and then also Ernest.
My follow-up, sir, how big of an opportunity does NC State have this week with the Tech game and then the Carolina game to sort of create separation amongst the ACC and amongst the national scene?
Well, we focus in on the next game. And so we've got a great opportunity to, we're going to play against Georgia Tech, who loves to mix it up and loves to confuse you. And, every game in this league is so important. If you think that it's not, then something's wrong with you. You can, on any given night, you can win, and on any given night, you can lose. And, when I sit back and watch a really, really good talented Miami team go to Georgia Tech and lose, that opens your eyes up. And like I said, Josh has done a good job with his guys.
JB Ricks, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, appreciate you taking out the time. Coach Pastner just mentioned, he just gave you high praise, actually, saying you should definitely be in the running for, Coach of the Year this year with the success you guys have had so far. I'm just curious to know, as far as the new coaching staff that you brought in and this new mix of players, how is everybody meshing, and how would you assess the job that your new coaching staff has done this year to help where you guys are at right now?
Well, our coaches are working. Obviously, they're doing a really good job. I think the main focus of any coaching staff and ones you put together is obviously bringing someone or bringing people in who are just locked in and is committed to our players and getting them better from day to day. And so I think they all have done a tremendous job. One of the hardest things as coaches, and especially as assistant coaches, is when you're coming in new, just trying to build a relationship with every player and getting them to trust you. And I think our guys have done a good job of getting the trust from the players and putting in a lot of work. And I'm excited that we have them all here.
Go to Brett Friedlander. Go ahead, Brett.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing today?
Hey, Brett.
So with Carolina coming up on Saturday, you've got a lot of kids who are new to the program. Do you talk to these guys about rivalries and things like that? And do you feel like they've got a feel for, how much the fans really get into these kind of games?
Brett, you've been covering me for a long time, and I'm just focused on Georgia Tech. That's our next game. That would be very unfair and silly of me to even think past that. Fair enough. Thank you, brother.
We'll go to David Teal next.
Kevin, the defensive metrics would suggest that this is perhaps your best defensive team, including your ones at Wilmington. Would you agree with what the numbers indicate? And if so, why do you think you guys have been so good on that end?
You know, David, I would have said that up until the Miami game. And Miami just destroys all your defensive numbers. I mean, you know, it was one of those that who could score the most. I mean, you get 83 points and you think that, you know, it should be an easy game and it's a 2-point game. We have become a little better defensively, a little bit more stingy. I think one of the reasons for it is Jarkel Joyner has done a great job at the point of our attack on the defensive end. We're understanding a little bit more how to keep guys in front and not give up so many easy baskets. So I do like our defensive intensity right now, especially when you look at the 2 games. I thought the 2 best defensive games that we played was, Duke here at home, where we were able to hold them to 22 points in the first half, and the same thing at Wake on the road. So I will say that I like the way this team is, defending. You know, it questions everything when you go back and look at the Miami tape, because Wong had a stretch where you felt like that, man, we didn't even try to defend him, but he's a good player. So, but we are building. I do like where we at. Hopefully we can continue to get better in those areas.
Kevin, as always, thank you for the time. Good luck this week.
Thank you, guys.